second live stream. Sorry, this one is hopefully going to be a bit more to do with the never-ending story, some random bits of information, and just to start, sorry if you're seeing me this way for the first time. I know I haven't seen a lot of people for quite a few years, and this is where the outcome of my mental health, where I find myself right now. Hopefully not forever. My sister was just here, and in a random discussion about what I should talk about today's never-ending story, it was the random fact that I'm going to start here. I don't know where it's going to end, but I'm going to start here. Hopefully we can figure out a storyline of the starting point for you all, and that is my uncle Vladimir, who had recently passed a year and a half ago now or so. I haven't had enough time to analyse it properly. I'm getting to why I brought up my uncle. I haven't been able to analyse it with enough time and energy yet for me to gain enough certainty within myself to truly believe it. But on the standout bits of information I've had so far, and they're pretty knockout bits of information according to my prior comprehension of to the way I look at the spiritual world, but there are a few inconsistencies that I need to be certain of, and I'm still getting there. Basically, my uncle Vladimir in my head is the reincarnation of Winston Churchill. So that's where it started. And on the flip side of that, and I won't mention who it is. I don't even know if they know. I'm sure they do on some level. But I knew the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. And let's just say they're both nice people. They're both nice people, and you can't argue sides either way. I'm really pushing through a hard time right now, very, very, very hard time right now, trying to tell this story. So the more patience you give me listening is going to do yourselves the favour if you want to get anything out of this message at all. So from Winston Churchill and Alfred Hitler, what I remember, and this is where it comes to energy from then, and a statement by John D. Martini, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. So from imagining me standing on the shoulders of Winston Churchill and Adolf Hitler as two different aspects of people I've known and had no problem with any different from anybody else. So in essence, I'm divided between two worlds. World War II was split. The good guys and bad guys, depending on which side you're on, unless you're Switzerland. So essentially I stand on two immense parts of history. And in addition to that, it was quite a vivid experience when all this was going on for me at the time, and I was having quite complex understandings about time. And what I went into in my last earlier pardon me, a video on the story aspect rather than my mental health. I mentioned about almost Indians being being us from the future, and the other way, and the first way, I think I looked at it rather than seeing them as us from the future, was the Vedas, the ancient Indian teachings as I've understood them, when they teach time, are similar to the Mayans, where it's almost like waves of time. You have periods where it's almost positive energy, everyone's more blissful, and then negative times where it's going to be like the Dark Ages and things like this, and it goes up and down, bigger cycles, smaller cycles, and they all have bigger and smaller cycles within them. And my understanding is that we're approaching a different time cycle, both of them. And my thinking is, my understanding is, and it goes quite complex with the context that is needed to explain this, but I think everybody in the universe has got pissed off with time. Why is it good and then bad? Why is it bad and then good? Up and down. And they've pinpointed this moment in time, with this cycle approaching, with this spiritual energy there, with us here as a species with everything going on, and seeing it as the perfect opportunity to settle this once and for all. What do we do about time? Now, the reason I say that is because there are still people that would, in a now try and stay with me on this. I don't remember clearly if it was for instance, I think it could have almost been somewhere in the universe they would have developed a way of living or being that was in direct parallel to us. So when we see good times, it's because we have a certain approach to life, a certain thing that makes it good. And somewhere else in the universe, there's an exact other thing that's been born that experiences the same thing, but when we experience it as bad. So we can't really just end it and say, all right, we'll create it all and we'll stop it and everything will be good, because that's not fair for other beings in the universe. So somehow standing on the shoulders of giants, we're also standing on the shoulders of time, in the essence of that there was quite a few possibilities to this from what I remember, and my mind isn't clear enough really to tune in now, but one of the things I remember is, and this will make a lot of people laugh, I don't know how true it is, I can't tune in enough, but I remember it nonetheless as a possibility, and I'll state it for that. Sorry, bear with me, it's my mental health. I'm just really trying to focus. So So they decided to settle it once and for all. Somehow the Indians' culture reflects an opposite to other cultures. That's the information that I was fed up and had a chance to reflect on it. It doesn't sound right just saying it, so I don't know how true it is, but for instance, where the English would talk complimentaries about the weather, the Indian culture talk complimentaries about it's hard for me to say it. For instance, going to the toilet. This is what I've heard. So this is one direct complimentary, right? Should we say? And somehow the Indian culture represents, and I don't believe any of this. I haven't decided any of this, and saying it doesn't sound like plausible in any way. But if you can get past any racism that you might associate, because I'm saying an Indian culture rather than any other culture, which I'm a little bit worried right now about, then there might just be a pleasant story. And somehow the Indian culture represents the other aspect of time in some way, the aspect of time where they experience good in times of what we consider bad, and when we consider things the opposite, blah blah blah. And they're somehow that representative here for us right now. And I don't know, I think my mind put me right at the slap bang centre, me knowing the reincarnation of Adolf and Winston there. Winston. I've got a problem with saliva at the moment, so I can't hear myself speak properly. Churchill. Me knowing the reincarnation of the both, and having this vision of me standing on their shoulders, not being divided in any way by friendship or personality or sex or family. Anyway. And then seeing that as my personality anyway, and seeing that reflected against the spiritual people I've met in my life and my story and everything else, it really did stand out as a possible thing that somehow I've been chosen in some way to divide time, or that what I remember was that time somehow is within me. The very, very centre of time is within me, and that connects to a Mayan past life feeling I've just had. No connection, no memory, no visions, just an intuition. Mayan workshop I went to a number of years ago now, where I listened and connected at a very prime age in my life, influenceable age in my life, and just having a thing about time my whole life. Not to mention, I was literally told by a bouncer in a nightclub one night, about a year before this event occurred, that I was the centre of the universe, and in this vision I was the centre of time, and if I was the centre of time and there are alien races and they're all in on this, then in another way I am the centre of the universe. And though that coincidence just added to all of this craziness. Anyway, this is where things start to get a bit more interesting for myself, when little things like that match up. The psychic bouncer, he literally stopped me in the nightclub and repeatedly said to me to repeat to myself, I am the centre of the universe. Yeah, I can't remember how many times we made me say it, but anyway, my mind made it come true. And that's the end of this live stream. Thank you for nothing. Had everything.